bust, so I'm literally just like scratching it off. But it's fine, you know, video has to go up. It's been a week. I'm not gonna talk too much about the Roe v. Wade thing. I'm upset. We're all upset. I think you've probably, if you're like me, you've heard a million different people tell you a million different things that you're supposed to do right now. Maybe we can just have some fun for a second and make a sweater together. But I will have a link in the description below with some resources, some organizations to donate to on like a state-by-state list, and a clinic locator that can help you. I do want to remind you that there are a lot of politicians, Democrat ones, that are trying to profit off of this for their campaign. You know, I don't want to tell you how to spend your money, but if you have the resources to donate, I would recommend donating to organizations or helping people via mutual aid. Your money will go so much farther than going to a politician who, let's be real, hasn't really done anything up to this point. I don't know, that's all I have to say about that, I guess. Anyway, back to the main point of this video, now that I've gotten all sad on you. I'm gonna show you how to make this sweater. It's very cute. It's very comfy. I made this months ago and I've been wearing it and washing it and wearing it and washing it and wearing it and washing it. But I'm gonna show you how to make it. You can obviously use like any color you want. Super easy. It's like way easy. It's made to measure, so it can fit anybody. You're gonna need weight for yarn in 2 colors or more. I don't know. 6mm crochet hook, stitch markers. I think I used 4 stitch markers, scissors, darning needle, measuring tape so that you can take your measurements. I think that's it. If I'm forgetting something, I'm sorry. Yeah, let's go. First, you're gonna get the width that you need. So you are going to measure around your tummy or your bust, whichever is wider, and divide that by 2, and that will give you the width of your sweater. So you're either gonna go around your tummy or around your bust and divide that number by 2, and then you are going to need the length of your garment, and to do that you measure from the top of your shoulder, stand up straight, and measure down to wherever you want your garment to end. If you want it cropped, it's going to be a little higher. If you want it to be, you know, you could make it a sweater dress if you wanted to. Cool. Okay, so I am pretty sure that I lost the footage for the beginning of this sweater, so I'm just gonna do a cute little voiceover really quick. To start the back panel, you're gonna chain the width measurement that you took, so that was like around your waist or your bust, divided by 2. Once you do that, you are going to turn your work and double crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook, and double crochet all the way down the rest of that chain. For row 2, you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and double crochet down the rest of that row. That chain 2 in the beginning will never count as a double crochet, so don't even worry about it. In row 3, this is where you're going to change colors to color 2. And it's just more of the same thing. It's just a row of double crochet, and then you chain 2, turn, double crochet. You're going to switch colors every 2 rows. You're just going to continue doing rows of double crochet, switching colors every 2 rows until you reach the length that you want. The only thing that you need to be mindful of is you should end with an odd number of rows. This just makes it so that all of your stripes line up really nice and neat once you sew everything together. So it's like not a huge deal, but it definitely impacts the finished look of your sweater. So basically, when you finish your back panel, you are just going to have a big rectangle, and it will have an odd number of rows. And one thing I forgot to mention in the beginning was you want to keep note of how many rows you have and how many chains you used in the beginning, because you're going to want to match the number of rows and chains for your front panel. So I have reached the last stitch in my second row of color 2, and I am going to show you how I like to carry this secondary color up just so that it's easier to change color when I get there. So I'm going to yarn over with my original color, insert my hook, yarn over again, pull up a loop, and then with both colors I'm just going to finish the double crochet like normal. Both colors. And that brings it up. And then I'm going to chain 2 with both colors. Oops. Two. And then I'm going to turn. And then I am just going to use the color that I'm switching to and double crochet into that first stitch and the rest of the stitches down. Okay, and again, it's totally your choice. I mean, there's probably a better way to do this. It's not the prettiest, but this gets sewn to the front panel anyway, so it pretty much gets covered up, and you really don't see it. So I am not particularly bothered by it, and it makes it so much easier at the end when you don't have 500 million ends to weave in. I hate weaving in ends. So here is my back panel, all done. It's just a rectangle, and again, as you can see here, where I carried up the second color of yarn, it's like not the prettiest, but again, it, you know, this end will be stitched together with the front panel, so you really will not see it in the finished project. So I have 33 rows, and again, like you can see here, I have 2 rows of color 1, 2 rows of color 2, over and over and over again until that last row, which for me ends up being 1 row of color 1. Now, to do your front panel, it's basically going to be the same instructions. Let me actually pull up my pattern really quick, which you can buy on my website or at Etsy. So yeah, for your front panel, you're going to do the same thing, where you're going to chain the same number that you chained to start your back panel. And you're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain from your hook. You know, double crochet 2 rows of color 1, double crochet 2 rows of color 2, but you are going to stop and not tie off. You're going to stop 9 rows short of what you did for your back panel. So to show you really quickly, this is my back panel. I would stop right here with this chunk of green. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I would stop at the end of here. And again, you're not going to tie off. So I will meet you again once I get to that point on my front panel. So we are going to start our shoulder at that point and like our neck hole. So yeah, I will meet you back when I get to that point. Now what we need to do is we need to find the center 5 or 6 stitches and mark them with stitch markers. So I'm going to do that right now. So you can see I have marked the middle 6 stitches with stitch markers. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change color and I'm going to double crochet until I am 2 stitches before my stitch marker. And now you can see here I am 2 stitches before my stitch marker, and in those last 2 stitches I'm going to double crochet 2 together. So I yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and then again I yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, then I yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches. Now I'm going to chain 2 and turn and double crochet all the way back. For row 2 of the shoulder portion, we are going to chain 2, turn, and skip the first stitch. That is an important thing that I forgot to mention, but you're going to skip the first stitch and double crochet into the next one, and then double crochet down to the end of this row. And then for the next, 7 rows? Yes. For the next 7 rows, you're going to repeat the first and second rows, where you're going to double crochet 2 together at the end of all the odd number rows, and then skip a stitch at the beginning of the even number rows. Done with that, you are going to tie off and then repeat rows 1 through 9 on the other side of the front panel. At this point, you should end the front panel with the same number of rows as on your back panel. And then in these last 2 stitches of the row, I'm going to double crochet 2 together again. Then I'm going to chain 2, turn, and double crochet all the way back. And we're going to do that until we've completed those last 9 rows. Now for row 2, we are going to chain 2. I've already turned, and we're going to skip this first stitch. So that double crochet 2 together, we are not going to double crochet into that. We're gonna yarn over and double crochet into the next stitch. And this chain 2 does not count as a stitch. So in our next row, we are not going to double crochet into this chain 2. So we've essentially decreased 1 in both of these rows. So at the end of row 1, we double crocheted 2 together, and then at the beginning of row 2, we skipped 1 stitch in the beginning. And we're going to do that for every color change until we have those last 9 rows. So I will meet you back then. Now you have your front panel finished and your back panel finished. Just a triangle, not a I swear to God, I do that every video. So the top of our back panel has that one single row of color 1 or 2, and your front panel should also have 1 lone row, because again, both of these should have the same number of rows. We start with the same color, we end with the same color. So what we're going to do next is we are going to line up our front and back panels, and we are going to sew this front shoulder part to the back. Line up the stitches. So from here to here, the neck hole is left open, obviously, and then we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. We're going to sew from here to here. Done. Look, it already looks like a sweater. And look how nice all of these lines line up. That's because of that one row that we added at the end. Now, one second. Wow. Now, try it on. Make sure your head hole fits over your head. It will. So now what you're gonna do is we want to kind of map out where we want our armholes to be and how wide we want them to be. So I think I do like a wider arm. So I think I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna put a stitch marker right in this front panel. And that's all I need to figure out, like where I need the stitch marker to go on the other side and whatever. So I will take this off and show you that. Okay, so we have marked that one spot. Where is it? Right here. We're going to mark the same row on the opposite side. So we have this one in the front. Line it up. So we'll mark this one on the back. Okay, so starting with my marked row where the stitch marker is, I'm going to attach my yarn. Yeah. There we go. I'm going to attach my yarn and chain 2. And of course, again, this chain 2 does not count as a stitch, so I am going to double crochet 2 into the side of this double crochet. So since we're working into the sides of these double crochets, we're working sideways now, there will be 2 double crochets in each row, so in the sides of each double crochet. And again, I am starting with my color 1, which is black. I apologize, I really hope that you can see. But just remember, 2 double crochets per row, so that's 4 double crochets per stripe. And there is that first row of our sleeve. Now for row 2, of course, I'm going to chain 2, turn, and double crochet in each stitch all the way down. Like always, I'm going to change color in the next row and double crochet 2 more rows in the next color, and continue that. I'm gonna work until about half of my sleeve is done, and then I will start decreasing at that point. So like half of your sleeve, so down to about your elbow, maybe a little bit past, is going to just be these straight rows, no decreases, nothing special. So I will meet you once you're halfway done with your sleeve and show you how I like to do the decreases. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I think this is what I'm going to call my halfway point because the shoulder section does go quite a ways down the arm, and it should for you as well. That's just the way the sweater is. Oh my gosh. That's from leaning on my desk. So yeah, I'm gonna call this my halfway point. So this is where I'm gonna start decreasing, and since this is halfway, and it doesn't have to be exactly halfway. You know, if you want to have more decrease rows, that's fine. If you want to have less, that's also fine. Play around with it. If you don't want to have any decrease rows and just have like a super wide sleeve, go for that too. Like, you can really do whatever you want with this. But all I'm gonna do to decrease is kind of similar to the shoulder, but different. On every row, I'm going to begin and end by double crocheting 2 together. So, you know, our first 2 stitches will be double crochet 2 together, and then I'll double crochet all the way down the rest of the row and double crochet 2 together in the last 2 stitches of the row. You know what I'm saying? So every row will be decreased by 2 stitches. I feel like I explained that pretty well, but I'll show you anyway. So here I am at the end of my row. I'm going to chain 2 and turn. And then I'm gonna double crochet 2 together. I think you're able to see that. So I'm gonna yarn over, insert my hook into the first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over again and pull through 2 loops. Then I'm gonna yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over again and pull through all 3 loops. So that's my first double crochet 2 together. And then I'm going to double crochet all the way down the rest of the row. So now again I've reached the end of my row and I have 2 stitches left, and I am again going to double crochet 2 together. Yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so I don't have enough space to show you exactly what this looks like, but you can kind of get the idea. Here's the front panel, here's the back panel, and the sleeves are on the sides. And so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna fold it on this shoulder seam here. And we're gonna sew up the side and down the sleeve, and be mindful, make sure that your seams are on the inside, so you're gonna sew this like inside out, you know what I'm saying? Also, I like to start a few rows up from the bottom. I just like the little like gap that's created here. So I'll show you, so I'll do that, and then I'll meet you back to show you how to do the cuff around the neck and around the sleeves. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do the ribbing in a different color, because my ribbing that I'm doing on my sweater is going to be in black and it doesn't show up very well on camera. So I'm using this purple just so that you can see, and I've made this little swatch of some double crochets. So I'm going to start by chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm going to single crochet in the second chain from my hook and then the rest of the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch into the next stitch here, and then slip stitch into the next stitch after that. Oops. So those are the next 2 stitches on my swatch here. Then I'm going to turn, and I'm going to skip those 2 slip stitches, and I'm going to single crochet into the back loop only of these single crochets. So you can see how there's a front loop right here and a back loop right here. We are only going to go into that back loop. Hopefully you can see this okay. See, I have gone only into that back loop, single crochet. And I'm going to do that all the way down. And I'm going to chain one, and I'm going to turn my work, and I am again going to single crochet into the back loop only all the way down. And then again, I'm back at the top of my little swatch here, and I'm going to slip stitch into the next double crochet, and then slip stitch into the double crochet after that. And then I'm going to turn, and again, single crochet in the back loop only until I reach the top. Skipping those slip stitches. Chaining one, turning, single crochet in the back loop only, back down. Single crochet into the next two, or not single crochet, slip stitch into the next two stitches on your swatch, or in this case for you, your sleeve or your neck. Turn and continue back loop only, single crochet, and as you can see, that creates a really nice looking ribbing. It's nice and stretchy. It's very pretty. And you can make this any length you'd like. I used 5 in this example. I would recommend that for the cuff around your neck. And then around your wrists, I would maybe do like 12 to 15 depending on how long you want it to be. But you can do this anyway, and you don't have to use single crochets either. You can slip stitch into the back loop only, and it will be a little more compact of a ribbing, if that makes sense. So it'll be more compact like this and not as wide. A similar result for sure. So I hope that was helpful. I will now do the ribbing on my sweater. Awesome. Was that as easy as you were thinking it was gonna be? It's probably easier. I hope I was clear. You know, I do get a little self-conscious sometimes because I feel like I'm not the best at giving directions, but I'm really trying. I'm still pretty new at this. Last month was my first ever month uploading like once a week, every week. This will be my second month to be honest. But all that to say, you know, I'm a beginner still, and I'm learning and trying to figure out the best way to do things. So I really hope I was clear. If I wasn't, feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you, or you can send me an email. I always have my email in my description. So if you have any questions or anything. Also, if you prefer written directions, I do have the pattern available on my Etsy and on my website. Everything on my website is cheaper than on my Etsy. That's because Etsy has some dumb fees, and that's just how I have to do things. So if you want to save some money, head over to my website. But if you prefer to use Etsy, I think things are like $1 more on my Etsy. If it if you don't want to buy the pattern, which really helps me out, you can still feel free to email me or leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Anyway, I'm rambling now. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram and on Twitch. I got my computer back and I will be able to stream. I don't know when I'm scratching my face again. I don't know when I might stream again. I have no plans for right now. I don't know, man. At the moment, I don't have any plans. But I would really love to just kind of do a nice little chatty tea and crochet kind of day. That would be really fun. I think that's it. I'm gonna go. I hope you're taking some time to just like breathe. I don't fucking know. I'll see you later. Goodbye.